Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ageless Ambition, a space where women come together for real conversations, real journeys, and real experience that help to inspire growth, healing, and transformation. I'm Jeraine Simmons, your podcast host, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Kwana Collins. How you doing, Kwana, on today?
I'm doing great, Jareen. Thank you so much for asking. How about yourself?
I am doing well. Kawana, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background.
Wow, that's so broad. Um, my background, it's a little bit of everything. All right. I was a suburban girl born and raised in Montclair, New Jersey. I was raised, excuse me, in a two-family home. Had a sister when I turned 16, so I basically was raised as the only child. I grew up with extreme asthma, before they were fast-acting inhalers. So it was a little sheltered for me growing up. So I didn't find my voice and my ambition until I got older.
Wow. Okay, so Kawana, you mentioned that you found your voice later in life. Can you go a little bit more in depth about that?
Growing up with any type of disability is a struggle. Being a woman close to 50, when medicine was not as broad or not as open to everyone when I was growing up, having certain disabilities made it harder for me to do things, right? So I wasn't the child that was able to stay outside until the street lights came on because we don't know if she could breathe. Where is she?
Mm,
We can't let her do that because we don't know if it's going to affect her asthma. There were no allergy tests back then. So when I said I couldn't find my voice, even if I said I was okay, no one listened to a child. Being a Black American child, we grew up with children are to be seen and not heard. So when it came down to certain things, my voice wasn't important. You
mm-hmm.
know, everybody thought they were doing what they needed to do for my safety, which was fine. But growing up that way, then when you turn into a teenager, you still have that same stigma of, it doesn't matter anyway. Oh, well, you're waiting for someone else to tell you and dictate what you should do. And that rolled over into my young adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I always look at young parents, especially, single mothers, be careful how you're raising your child. Not that you're doing anything wrong, but by sheltering them and by coddling them so much, they keep that same mold.
Mm,
Right? And it's hard to break a mold. It's like a habit. How long does it take to have a habit? You're talking about 28
mm-hmm.
days. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about years of molding something, how firm and hard is it? You can't break
Wow.
that just simply because you turn 18 or you get your first apartment. It's
Right.
something that's embedded. So it was difficult for me to therefore move forward with, hey, I can do this. I know how to
Mm,
manage my health. I don't have to wait for my mom to say it's okay, or wait for a doctor's appointment. I am smart enough to know me, what I need.
mm.
So that's what I mean by finding my voice in the medical term.
Okay, wow, that's pretty interesting. And so, how did that transfer over into your parenting style? You talked about basically something developing into a hard, solid rock because that was the foundation that you had as growing up as a child. But how did your parenting style transfer over from that?
That's a great question. I tried to alter it as much as I possibly could and
Mm-hmm.
hold on to the things that I enjoyed from my parents. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Example is, being a young woman, we were never taught anything about our bodies, sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had a son, I was like, let's break that mold. I'm going to
Okay.
teach you what your body's going through. What's the difference?
Mm.
Growing up, we didn't use the correct term for your body parts, right? Because
Right.
it was too adult like. I
Right.
didn't do that with my son. This is what it's called, but we only say it in certain ways. But then there were some
Mm.
things I couldn't avoid, some things that I kept, far as age appropriation. I'm not watching R-rated or X-rated movies with you, but I'll
Right.
watch your cartoons and then turn around and have a discussion with you. So I thought it was a healthy mix. Now you'd have to ask my son and see how he feels about it.
And so you talked about the asthma and how that shaped you into your style of parenting, but then also as an adult woman. Is there any other experiences that you can share with us? Maybe just one more that you can share with us that helped shape you into the woman you are today and how you think.
Wow, just one? Oh, Jermaine, there's
Or
so
you can
many.
go into two or three.
Um, I tell everybody my mother raised me and God defined me. I
God.
went through a lot in my short life. I know I haven't
Hmm.
been through everything.
Hmm.
Um, Being hurt by people I trusted shaped me to learn that I don't trust everybody. I give everybody a chance for me to trust them.
Hmm.
That was something I had to learn. Um, Life lessons, being in love, learning the difference of loving someone and being in love. That shaped my whole life of as a woman, right? Everybody
Right,
wants
right.
that. So there were quite a few things that happened to me that shaped me, that made me see things the way I am now. And then education wise,
Hmm.
I learned that no matter how old you are, you can always be a better person. You can always improve. You should always learn something. And you may not learn something every day, but
Hmm.
once a month, you should learn something new and take that and adequately put it into your life.
Hmm. Yes. Now, you mentioned about trust, how you had trust issues, but then you went on to talk about love and loving. How did that transfer over into developing? Because I know you're a wife now, but how did
Yes.
that transfer over into the development of your relationship and going into marriage? Did you have a struggle with that? Was there anything internally that you had to learn how to put aside in order to have a healthier relationship that you can share with us?
Yes. Well, my first marriage didn't work, as you see,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't work because of both of us, right? Um, Going back to what I said about being molded, when I was a child, I wasn't taught how to be a wife. We heard the phrases, be a virtuous wife, be
Mm-hmm.
loving, but we weren't taught what that meant. So when you just say these words and then you don't back it up with facts and the things that you're seeing, you're not taught this is what it means and giving definitions, you don't know how to do it. I couldn't come to my parents, unfortunately, and say, Mom, how do I make sure my husband's happy? Because
Mm.
their answers were just so vague. Girl, you'll figure it out.
Wow.
It wasn't detailed. And I did figure it out. It was just one marriage too late.
Wow. I can agree with that. Like looking
Yeah.
back, my mom did not teach me on principles of becoming a wife. She just basically said, well, she did say you take care of home.
But
But
what
what
does
did
that
that
mean?
entail? You cook, you clean, but what
That
else
was
does
it.
that entail? Is that it? Is that the box that you placed a wife in? You go to church, you raise your children, you cook and you clean.
That's
But
it. And
how? And then what else
exactly. Exactly. And
that
that's
comes
exactly
along
what
with
I
it?
mean.
So that's an interesting point that you gave there about marriage and about, how you had to learn that. Can you give me one principle on basically what did you learn on your own as a wife?
Communication,
Wow.
articulation.
Mm.
They're two separate, but without one, you can't have the other.
Wow.
I had to learn my husband's language. I
Mm.
had to learn that how he talks to me is not how he talks to everyone else. So
Mm-hmm.
when he's speaking to me, I had to learn what it meant. I had to learn what power phrases he used to express his sad, his happy, his energy, because forget men and women are different.
Mm-hmm.
Each individual person is different.
Mm.
So knowing that he wasn't raised in my household with my parents, he didn't get what I got. So how he was taught to be a husband and a man was
Mm-hmm.
way different than what I had.
Mm.
right? So we each had to take a moment ongoing.
Yes.
Why do you say this? What does this mean? Why do you look like this? What is your
Wow.
thoughts when you look like this? When I do this, how does it really make you feel? What is your expectations of me in this relationship? And these are questions that a lot of people say, "Oh, I know my man." But do you?
Mm.
Do you
Wow.
know when he said he goes and play a video game because he had a rough day at work because he doesn't want to hear anything about the house, he don't want to hear anything about the kids, he don't want to hear this because he wants time to decompress. And a lot of times women fail to pay attention to those communication skills, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
all communication is not verbal.
Mm-hmm.
And we, like you hear me say we, right? Because I'm included in this. We go by our perception of what we think it should be and automatically place it on someone else. But you can't do
Right.
that. That's not their language.
Right.
So for me and my husband, that was number one key. And that's why 5 years in, I know it's only 5 years, but we're still madly in love. We're still in the honeymoon stages. We still
Mm.
run around with not BB guns, excuse me, Nerf guns and hide behind doors and shoot at each other when we jump out the bathroom. you know,
Right.
we're still doing stuff like that because we've learned our language. You know,
Wow.
yeah, a
I hear
great,
so much in what you're saying because you're talking about being intentional, like how couples have to
yes.
be intentional. It's almost like, correct me if I'm wrong, that you studied him. Like you're
Yeah.
like, I'm studying him, his physical behavior, his mental behavior, how he responds after work, what does he do? And so many times, like you did say, women say, oh, I know him, but do you really know him? Have you taken the time to study? Now, you touched on one thing at the end. You said, that you guys are still in the honeymoon phase after five
Yes.
years of marriage, where you guys still play, you still have that balance where you have to get work done, you have responsibilities as a married couple and as individuals, but then also you said that you make time to play. How important do you think that is for a lasting relationship?
It's more important than people think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're adults here. We find our playtime is more important than sex
Hmm. Interesting.
because let's be realistic. Intimacy and sex are two different things. We're
Yes.
intimate every day, right? We don't have sex every day. I'm tired. I'm about to be 50 years old. My knees hurt, right? So that portion lasts us how long? Let's be realistic. Versus our playtime lasts us for hours. We
Mm.
come out of the realm of, for me, I wake up, get dressed, go downstairs, put dishes away. I'm a mechanic in my
Mhm,
household
mhm,
cleaning.
mhm.
When we play, I come out of that and my whole attitude is relaxed, open, and just focused on enjoying myself with him and
Wow.
vice versa. So we're laughing and talking. We done forgot about the bills. We done forgot about the
Mm.
political part of life. We forgot about the pets because all our children are grown. But so we done forgot about who got to go to the vet. All of that is put aside, and we are actually enjoying our lives together as adults.
Wow.
And some playtime is traveling.
Mhm.
Some playtime, like I said, is our Nerf guns. Some playtime is he'll stand in front of the TV and do this while I'm trying to watch TV to get my attention. And I'm like, really? And then we just start laughing. So it's not always just one thing, but it's very important because that lasts long. It keeps the fun and the excitement going,
Yes.
along with other stuff. Like I'm very domestic. I love
Yeah.
making sure I clean my house. Like right now, my husband's he's still working, but he's out of work.
Mhm.
He's home all day.
Mhm.
I still put out his cup for his coffee every morning, put the dishes
Wow.
away, write little notes sporadically throughout the morning and leave it for him, put his favorite pan out so when he wakes up, that's one less thing he has to do. When I come home from work, since I travel 2 hours, he knows I'm tired. He automatically
Mm,
goes upstairs and turns the light on when he sees I'm 10 minutes from the house in the bathroom. He takes my nightgown out. We do that for each other on a regular.
mm.
So yeah, you're right,
Kawana,
intentional.
Kawana, I love that for you guys, that you guys still have fun together and that you are intentional about a day to day, just the little things that you're talking about, like sitting out a cup, taking out pajamas, but you still work. Now, you said something
Yes.
about that you travel 2 hours back and forth to work.
Yep, 2 hours there and
And
2 hours back
so
home.
that's a lot. Tell us a little bit about your career because I know who you are in your career, but my audience doesn't. Tell us a little bit about your career, about she has a master's degree, she's going into her PhD. Tell us a little bit about that and balancing.
Okay. I work for the state of New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working for the state for 25 years. I have been in 4 different departments since then. I, enjoy what I do. You know, I'm an assistant to a director for clean energy. I am looking to move from this position to other positions because I do have my master's in institutional organizational psychology.
Wow.
So that opens up a lot. I started my career in psychology when my son was a little boy, like 4 or 5, because he kept
Mm.
asking me all these questions, and I'm like, "Child, I have no idea." And then his friends would ask me questions, and God kept talking, but I had noise of the world. I couldn't hear God's voice, right?
Mm.
So then I finally listened and I went into the field of psychology so I can give therapy and direction to the youth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it started. So then I went and got my certificate, and I should be finishing my master's in um, life coaching because I started doing that with young kids, setting them up for
Mm-hmm.
the world. So
Okay.
that's where I'm at career wise. I chose to move to Delaware because New Jersey was a little bit more expensive and I wanted a little bit more peace, quiet, and serenity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I traveled to 2 hours. But it was a stretch because in my first marriage, I started school. I was too stressed. I didn't love myself enough to continue school at that moment, so I had to drop out.
Wow.
Then when I met Lamont, he not only encouraged me to go back to school, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't make me feel bad about going back to school. He didn't hit
Mm.
me with, "You ain't too old for that? You sure that's what you wanna do? Well, we ain't never gonna have no
Wow.
time together." He didn't give me that. He said, "I'll do whatever you need me to do." Took me a minute, I didn't know if I trusted him, and then I did. And 5 years later, he was with me when I finished my bachelor's, because I had to drop out of that, and he worked me with my master's, and he's encouraging me to go get my doctorate.
Amen. Amen. So,
Yes.
in all of that, you have someone special. And basically, what you're teaching the women out there is that partnership does matter. Selection does matter in your choice in your husband. Did you go into your marriage knowing that that you had a heart to go back to school and continue your education as a doctor?
I did. So
Okay.
one thing I will tell any woman, know you. Yeah, I know I said it. I did not love myself enough to finish school in my first
Mm,
marriage because I did not know what it took to be a wife. So I was struggling being a
hmm
wife. So
hmm
therefore, I was struggling learning me. Once I learned who I was and accepted who I was and asked God to change the things in me that He thought I needed to change, right? Because that's
hmm
more important than wanting to change what you want to change.
Right.
It became easier. School isn't hard for me. It's
Mm.
like waking up. It's second nature.
Okay.
So once I learned who I was and once I confirmed that this was a path that God approved for me,
hmm
it was easy. Whether I was married or single, I still would be in this path. It
Wow.
just so happened that I was blessed enough to have a partner go through it with me. Because before I met him, I started back school and I
Okay.
met him during the process. But yeah, it was a struggle, learning me first and
Mm,
deciding what I wanted to do. And I switched a couple of classes around, and I wasn't sure. And I
okay.
did switch because I was going to be a therapist, a full, psychologist, and I said I can't do clinicals at 50.
I think you could. I think you'll be amazing, you
Well, I think
know.
well, that's why I got my life coaching. So I'm still in some leadership
Hmm.
educational program, but just not full therapy. I only have a few
Wow.
credits in it.
Wow. You talked about understanding who you are. And you also talked about, your faith with God and how that played a part in it. Can you give some principles that you basically follow through that period with understanding who you are that you can pass on to the women?
I first sat down and asked God to show me me.
Mm,
It was the weakest point in my life, right? Because here I am, divorced, with a child, asthmatic, scared if the kid's going to develop asthma. I was going through so much, not all physical, some mental and emotional, like we all go through because we're our worst
mm-hmm,
critics. And I
mm-hmm,
asked God to show me me. And when
mm,
He did, I didn't like it. I cried, I was hurt. I didn't go through depression because He kept me from that, but it
mm-hmm.
was hurtful. But once He showed me me, He showed me a way to change it. And
Wow.
that's when I started making changes. That's when I started saying what I don't want to be, right?
Mm-hmm,
Um, and it's funny because you know how they always say God puts people in your life for a reason, a
mm-hmm,
season. Well, He was putting people in my life for seasons to show me, not to down them or to think I was better than them, but to show
mm-hmm.
me that's not you,
That's
right?
right.
I wasn't supposed to friend some of them, but I did. I had to go through that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And that's when I made moves. And once I found His voice and then listened, right? Because that's the biggest part, listening to what He said do,
right.
it became easier to say, like we just discovered, I'm not a nice person.
You are a nice person.
I'm not. Hmm. I'm kind, I'm
Yeah.
thoughtful, I'm giving. But
Okay.
the definition of nice is someone who agrees with everybody, who does
Oh,
not speak up for themselves.
no, that's
A
not you.
right, a nice person will always just accept what people do. I'm not a nice
Mm,
person. So I
mm,
accepted that. Okay, I cannot be nice. I'm still giving. I sporadically give money to people in the stores of, pay for things,
mhm,
and
mhm,
I donate clothes and money and time to shelters. So I do that. I'm thoughtful. Even with my friends, I'm always thinking about them and doing that. And I'm sure you remember, I used to send out a yearly thing about, hey, have I offended you this year? What can I do to change to make our friendship better? Right?
wow.
I do that, but I'm not nice.
Yes,
You're not
yes.
gonna walk over me and just because you say it's green, I'm not gonna say yes if I'm looking at red. Nah, I see red. Now you may
That's
see
right.
green,
That's
but that
right. That's
yeah.
right.
But once I got that down packed, everything else was better. My
Yeah.
friendships, my relationship,
Mm,
my job. I stopped stressing over things that I cannot change. Literally, if I didn't cause it, I'm not stressing over how to fix it.
that is an amazing self-assessment, an honest self-assessment that you went through. And I heard the passion in your voice where you talked about, it was the lowest part and you
Mhm.
had to grow, but you had God, you had faith, and He showed you the path to basically healing. I like that you said that you had to learn to listen because those people that was put in your life, I believe they were for a test. Let me see if she's actually listening. And it also was a period where you can say, you know what, I'm not there anymore. And I can
Mhm.
recognize that I'm not there anymore. I had to share with some friends of mine recently. I had to say, you know what, I'm not there at that place anymore.
Right.
It has to be something more. I can
Yes.
do something better with my time as opposed to that particular place. And I
Yes.
had to be okay with it. I think that in with me, I have to be okay with just being Jeraine, just being at the place where I am today and
Mhm.
understand that yesterday was yesterday, yep, but today is a different day.
Yes.
Um, Kawana, what purpose do you find yourself walking into in the next 5 years of your life?
I don't know. I know it seems like I know, but I don't because
Yes.
some days I think, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." And I'm
Hmm.
like, "God, did you tell me to do that, or is that just something I saw on TV and I dreamt about it, so I think I should do it?" That's
But
just
that's
honest. That is
honest.
so
I
honest.
love that.
I have to admit, and not to be, more than I'm humbled, I'm humble. I am an
Mm,
honest person.
right,
Sometimes too honest, but I am an honest person. But I don't
right.
know. What I pray for the next 5 years, I continue to be the person I am with better improvements.
Mm,
You know, I love who I am. I love that I can look back on my struggles. I love that I can, look at someone and say, "I've been dead. I've experienced that. Oh,
hmm.
I've been on a motorcycle. Oh, I've fallen off. Oh, I've been divorced. I've given birth. I've had an
Right,
abortion."
right,
Even though they're not all positive, people are like, "Ooh."
right.
I love being able to say I did it because I can relate. It keeps me
Mm.
humbled knowing I cheated. So since I cheated before, I know how I never want to do
No,
that again.
yes,
I
yes,
don't want that.
yes.
I know I can say I've been so broke that I had to steal a potato out the store.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
A
So
potato, but
a potato, because they fill you up, girl, and that potato
but
was
you're right.
big,
Okay, okay,
okay, and I cut it in
okay.
half, and me and my baby had a half a potato, you know?
Wow.
I love that I can say that. I love
Mm.
that I can say, once I learned not to do those things,
Hmm.
I ain't never do none of them again.
Mm. I
I
love your
never do that.
perception of life and of your experiences, how you look at them as lessons, almost like a staircase towards purpose. You don't look
Mhm.
at it as like a stumbling block or something that is blocking you. You look at it like, hey, I learned this lesson. Now I can grow from it and educate others in it. And that's why you are that's why you have that therapy background and the coaching background now, because
Thank you.
I definitely believe that you're going to be successful in that area when God opens that door for you, because I hear that you lean on him and you lean on his voice. And I love that you're honest, that you said, I don't know in 5 years, but I just want to be a better person, a better version of me, which is
Yeah.
honest. You're just not just throwing out there, and you recognize that, yes, sometimes we do. We sit down, we be like, oh, that sounds good. Let
Let me
me
try
try
that.
that. Let me do that, you know? Now, I do think that, sometimes in life we should try certain things. Like, I want to
Mhm.
try line dancing. Now, I have two left feet and two bad knees, but I want to try line
Girl,
dancing.
I got you, don't worry about it.
You know, I'm like, now
I
that's
will
an idea, but and God might be like, you might need to just keep on watching it from afar.
Mhm. I got you. I know the perfect place to go. But yeah, you know what, Jeraine, and you said it right. Sometimes we do need to try things, and sometimes we need to know what we shouldn't try,
Right.
right? So I know where I would like to be in 5 years. Well, not
Mm.
really. I have an idea,
Hmm.
but I'm still waiting for God to tell me what to do next week. You
That's the
know,
truth.
I laugh and joke. I am a very honest comedic person, right? Because
Hmm.
uh, making myself laugh is the best thing. I need to laugh at everything. Life is so serious. Laughter kept me through everything. So because of that, I find humor in everything that I do. And that's the one thing that I know people look at me like, she's so silly. She really, Christian?
Yeah.
Or, you know me, my favorite
Hmm.
is the
Hmm.
fact that I use profanity a lot. And I keep telling people, if you read the Bible, those words that we use aren't in the Bible. Those are not against God.
Right.
So, some of my quirks and stuff. So I'm looking toward changing some of those verbal
Mm-hmm.
actions into difference. I'm looking to increase my faith where instead of me reading the Bible just in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
can I do it twice a day at least? I mean, we eat
Mm.
3 times a day. I should be able to at least read a passage 3 times a day along with my meal. That's a
Right.
goal. So
Right.
there's things that I would like to see me do,
Right.
but I'm 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 just humbly waiting. Like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna play until you tell me what to do. This is where
Mm.
you at. I'm gonna do this. You told me to start making sure my body is right and eating healthier and
Yes.
going to school, make sure I'm active in all my kids' life. That's a difficult choice. And with family, so I do.
Mm.
And that's where I'm at right now to focus, you know.
Yes. Kawana, we talked about your focus from education to career balancing to love, marriage, family. Before we head out for the day, can you
Okay.
give me some principles that will help the women out there to follow? Just some everyday principles.
Number one, be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no need to lie to yourself. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you should lie to anyone, but if you can start off with being honest with yourself, honesty will come easier for everything.
Right.
And I say that because I hear people lie about everything as small as, girl, I'm dieting. I just saw you eat a donut. Who are you trying to convince? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I'm
These are little
dieting in
things.
progress.
Right. But I just say to women, like, be honest. Say, I'm not
Right.
focusing on that right now.
Right.
Secondly, for any woman, um, really just seek God. Like, I'm a Christian, but I
Mm-hmm.
am a firm believer that all religions are connected. You know
Mm-hmm.
how my biological father's Cuban, my mother's Black, my friends are white and Spanish
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
Korean.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody serves, they call God different, but I think it's the same God because the same way we are all different nationalities, right? So we say different things, we all just call him something different. So I say that to
Right.
say, whatever your religion is, seek God first within it
Mm-hmm.
before
Mm-hmm.
making any choices. Um, I don't think I told you, but since you have me in a podcast, I did write a book.
Okay.
It's a different kind of self-help book for women.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the ones that it hurt my heart to write, but I felt that it was needed. And an example would be, how you want a baby so bad, but you knew Jerome, first name that popped in my mind, you knew Jerome wasn't a good father to his first 4 kids. Why did you think he would be a good father to your kid? Why did you go out there and sleep with him and have a baby? Like, use common sense. I know we're not,
Right.
as a therapist, I'm not supposed to say common sense because everybody's sense is not the same, similar, but we all
Mm.
have the same line of what sensibility is. Use
Right.
it. Use it. Don't be afraid to ask questions, no matter what. It's not the question, it's how you propose it.
That's true.
And finally, enjoy your steps in life because you only get one. You can't
Mm-hmm.
go back and change what you did. You could
Yes.
only improve for your future, but you
Mm.
have to want to do it. So enjoy the steps you're making now. Make them count, make them worthwhile, you know? So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Kawana. Thank you for, I'm just going to call you Kay because that's what I call you.
Yes, you call me
Just going to
Kay,
call you
always.
Kay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty and your humility throughout this conversation and just your passion to help others because I hear it in your voice, that servant gift that you have to help others. And thank you for sharing your steps that you went through in life towards purpose and how you are continuing to strive even after 50. Now, wait a minute, you didn't turn 50 yet.
It's coming, girl.
Celebrating her 50th soon. We'll be celebrating it in Costa Rica, everyone.
Yay. I'll be
But
50 next month. I'll be in Dominican Republic with my 2 sons and my husband for my 50th.
yes, yes, that's amazing. And look, you travel with your sons and your
Yeah.
husband. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing all by itself is that you guys travel together and you are making it work. And one thing about Kawana, where she talked about being domestic, I'm just going to put this on blast. She has the most animals I've ever seen in a person. Now, I'm surprised she didn't talk about all those animals that
Oh,
she's
I love
had
my
over the
babies.
years. Her babies.
They are. And it's funny because my friend Kim came to my house and people when they hear that I have 4 pets, they
Mhm.
expect to come in my house and be like, I could smell the dog. And Kim said, I don't smell nothing in your house. I said, well, you ain't supposed to, but food and Lysol. Like
Right, right, right.
I tell anybody, if you're gonna do it right. And I am domestic and I take care. I sweep and mop my floor twice a day
Yes, yes.
because I don't want no dog fur. You don't see no cat hanging off me, and they're all trained. My cats don't jump up on the
Hmm.
table. I will smack them into a new life. We we don't have those problems.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I am. I'm very much into animals,
yes,
um, and I love them. You know
yes,
why? Really
yes, she does.
quickly, animals live God's life.
Mm, interesting thought.
He told a cat, "You're a cat." You never see a cat try to be a
Mm,
dog. You never see a cat do anything other than what God told it to be, a cat. For every animal, when you think about it, they do exactly what's in their alignment of what God told them to be. They accept it, they love it, and they do it season after season without complaining, without mesh, without any problem. They
wow,
continuously
that's
live.
T. That's a brilliant perspective of animals, and that's why you love animals so much.
That's why I love animals because they are the closest to God's law we will ever see.
Wow, amazing. Kawana, I want to just thank you sincerely from my heart for just stopping
Thank you,
by Ageless
Jermaine.
Ambition and sharing your heart, sharing your moments. So I'm just going to close everyone. Ageless Ambition is more than a podcast. It is a reminder that purpose does not expire. No matter your age, your season, or your starting point, there is still power and purpose and a time for reinvention. I'm Jermaine Simmons, your podcast host. Thank you for joining us on today. Kawana, stay on. I'm just going to stop the recording.